A warm welcome to you. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. The need for Nigeria to rejuvenate its oil and gas sector re-echoed at the 2022 Nigeria Energy Conference. Key players at a panel discussion reiterates that energy mix must be prioritized rather than just focusing on oil and gas. The expectation is that no other derivatives from crude oil that are not undergoing transition will attract capital investment. Lydia Sampson reports.
Chemicals such as bitumen, rubber, and marine oil are all produced from crude oil. The panel drawn from key stakeholders say it is time to change the barrel to harness the derivatives from crude oil towards making the mix more attractive. They noted that the Ukraine-Russian crisis is a double-edged sword because despite the challenges, people who would otherwise not look at Nigeria are now looking for investment in Nigeria's natural gas sector.
There are trinity of objectives for every national oil company, whether it's limited or corporation. They are expected to provide energy security. That's the first E. They are expected to provide financial security. And they are expected to provide growth security. The combination of energy security, finance security, and growth and development are the fulcrum of every national oil company.
And the truth of the matter is, even before energy transition, we've always had challenges attracting funds into the African or to Nigerian markets.
Participants agree the country must deploy the trinity of S, which are stability, sustainability, and security for sustainable funding of its energy mix.
The recent steep increase in the price of petrol, diesel, and even aviation fuel had adversely affected businesses in Nigeria. MSMEs continue to depend on gasoline and diesel for their businesses to survive. Given that we have an estimated 40 million MSMEs in the country, you can see clearly that there is indeed a need for the conversations to continue.
We acknowledge the vast opportunities despite the challenges, noting that Nigeria remains a show haven across the value chains in the industry. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The increase in insecurity across some African countries has forced nations in the region to increase their budget on security investments and less on development financing. This trend has become worrisome for analysts and development experts in the region as they propose good governance and policies as they deliberate approaches to coping with this challenge. Justin Bem-Unyi reports.
Insecurity of various sorts has unfortunately increased significantly across the Sahel region. This has made governments of these countries to prioritize and spend a chunk of their budgets on fighting terrorism and banditry. Little is therefore left to be utilized in other sectors of development, be it education, health, water, and sanitation, which are developments citizens so much desire. This substitution of finance prioritization is perhaps happening and has become a thing of concern.
It is that we have to now make a link between security, between growth, between security linked to investment, to growth and development. We can't look at security anymore as an exogenous factor in that development process. We've got to integrate it as an endogenous part of that. And to deal with that and help the countries to have more resources to cope with these issues of insecurity that is now becoming a contagion effect in many countries with spillover effects. The African Development Bank is developing what's called security index investment bonds, areas that have been devastated, because if you don't have those, then you've lost the battle of the mind and soul of the population. And the last one is to also protect areas where you have strategic investments from terrorists and others doing that.
The stabilization of economies in the Africa region after security challenges is said to be made paramount, more so that there has been a rippling effect being felt in Nigeria and Africa from the Russia-Ukraine conflict that called for action. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Let's talk politics. The presidential standard bearer of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has expressed his absolute respect and regard for both the Christian and Muslim faith in the country. Tinubu, who announced Senator Kashim Shettima, a Muslim and two-term governor of Borno State, as his running mate, noted that he is not oblivious of religious and ethnic sensitivities of the nation, but made the choice in the overriding interest of the country. Senator Tinubu said he is mindful of the energetic discourse concerning his running mate between actors in the two religions, as both arguments are right in their own ways. To govern the country towards uncommon progress, innovation, the APC leader believes is required. He also assures that he will not and cannot ignore the religious concerns and ethnic sensitivities of the people. Taking them into due consideration is an important part of good and able governance. Tinubu stated that to forge ahead as a nation towards development and prosperity, we must break free of old binds. We must recalibrate our political calculations to where competence and fairness matters, quote and unquote. In a related development, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has described the choice of Senator Kashim Shettima as APC's vice presidential candidate as the wisest decision made by the party's presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Governor Zulum said Senator Kashim Shettima's choice is personal to him, assuring that with the leaders, stakeholders and members of the APC, they would work hard together to ensure overwhelming victory for the APC. Similarly, Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje congratulates Senator Kashim Shettima over his nomination as vice presidential candidate of the APC. Governor Ganduje expresses confidence that, as a senator and a former two-term governor of Borno State, is a good choice capable of working with the presidential candidate to take Nigeria to greater heights. The governor commended the APC flag bearer Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for making a choice in Shettima and described the combination as an assurance for the success of the party at the polls. Also, President of the Senate Ahmad Lawan said he and the Northeast Caucus of the All Progressives Congress heartily congratulates Senator Kashim Ibrahim Shettima on his nomination as the running mate to the party's presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 2023 general elections. A statement signed by Senator Lawan said Asiwaju Tinubu and the party have made an excellent choice in Senator Shettima. It noted that the former two-term governor of Borno State has demonstrated great competence, integrity and courage in all the positions that he has held. And the All Progressives Congress has described as false and misleading the report circulating on some media platforms that its national legal advisor has resigned. National Publicity Secretary of APC, Felix Morka, in a statement said Ahmed Usman El Magzouk is and remains the national legal advisor of APC. The statement adds that Barrister Daniel Bwala, who purportedly left the APC, was not the national legal advisor, as been reported by some media, and urged the general public to kindly disregard such misleading information. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered the deployment of adequate police personnel, operational assets for the July 16 Osun governorship election. Force Public Relations Officer notes that the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department, DIG Johnson Babatunde Kokumo, is to supervise and coordinate the security opponents of the election to ensure a peaceful environment that guarantees the security of law-abiding citizens as they perform their civic responsibilities. The IGP assures that the force will collaborate with the Independent National Electoral Commission and other stakeholders to protect democratic values, provide level playing field for all political actors, and ensure adequate protection of voters, INEC officials, equipment, accredited observers, and other key players in Osun State. The IGP admonishes the people of Osun State to be law-abiding and calls on eligible voters to come out en masse and exercise their franchise, as adequate security has been put in place to protect them before, during, and after the election. In the meantime, as part of preparations towards ensuring a smooth conduct of the Osun gubernatorial election this Saturday, the Court-Martial Federal Road Safety Corps, Dr. Boboye Oyemi, has ordered operatives of the Corps drafted to cover the election to ensure effective collaboration with other security agencies and INEC in the enforcement of restrictions on vehicular movement. In a statement by BC Kazim, the Corps Public Education Officer, the Corps operatives have equally been mandated to clear obstructions from the roads, carry out rescue operations in case of emergencies, and maintain orderliness in polling booths. To ensure that the Corps plays effective role in the elections, the Court-Martial has directed the deployment of 1,500 personnel of the Corps and 35 vehicles, including tow trucks, ambulances, to strengthen enforcement of restrictions during the entire process of the election. He warned the personnel deployed to play active role in the democratic exercise to exhibit the highest sense of professionalism, ingenuity, and avoid any temptation that could lead to abuse of the rights of electorates. Professors and academics must take keen interest, especially in issues of education and healthcare, exploring options for reform and innovation in those human capital development sectors. This was the highlight of a virtual meeting between Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo and a team of professors drawn from the 6 geopolitical zones under the auspices of the Progressive Intellectuals Advisory Group. The Vice President, who interacted with the dons on a number of topical national development issues, urged stakeholders, especially members of professional bodies, to make contributions towards addressing them. On access to tertiary education, Vice President Oshibajo said, given the rate of interest in tertiary education, the nation cannot cope with a brick-and-mortar approach and won't be able to cope with the numbers in the near future, because there would be millions more who would not be able to get into schools. The Vice President wants the academic to consider developing online tertiary education to the point where Nigeria offers the best services in the sector. Also in healthcare, the Vice President called on members of the group to support the federal government's efforts to reform the healthcare system by contributing to ideas that will make health insurance work effectively in the country. He mentioned that a health reform committee is already in place looking at the issues. Leader of the group and Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Shehu Adamu, also spoke about the need for Nigeria to strengthen the open and distance learning option to address the issue of access to university education. Today, 11th of July every year, has been set aside by the United Nations as World Population Day. A world of 8 billion towards a resilient future for all, harnessing opportunities and ensuring rights and choices for all, is the theme for this year's event. Oluseyi Adiagbo, in this special report, examines the significance of the World Population Day and the aptness of this year's theme.
According to the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, the world's population reached 7 billion in 2011, and in the phase of 11 years, the population is reaching more than 8 billion by mid-November this year. In an ideal world, 8 billion people points to 8 billion opportunities for healthier society empowered by rights and choices. But this has not been so. Too many are still exposed to discrimination, harassment and violence. Building awareness of the opportunities and challenges posed by this milestone, as well as drawing public's attention to the importance of other population issues globally, gave birth to the World Population Day. The moment, which offers celebration of human progress, stressed the import of demographic changes and resilience is here.
Very firmly, it is happening, and nobody can decide that half of the population has no right to exist. We are here, and we have to learn to live with that, but we have to do it in a way that it empowers people to exercise their rights and to make choices freely about the things that are very important in their lives.
That theme is even more apt for us in Nigeria, because Nigeria, being the most populous country in Africa and growing, as we're told, to become the third most populous country in the world, we must begin now to look at how to harness the opportunities of this growing population, while at the same time ensuring the rights and choices of all within our country.
In Nigeria, this year's World Population Day is being marked when the nation is at a peak of preparation for an actual census.
If the world is 8 billion, how many are we out of that 8 billion? We can only know that when we have an accurate, reliable, and acceptable census. So the census could not have come at a better time. This is the time when we must have accurate information.
So the census will be a very important test of whether, our expectations, the information that we've gathered from earlier data collection exercises, whether that has given us a complete picture or whether we need to make adjustments.
Though the nation has been working with an estimated population data, key players in national population data have been emphasizing the need for the nations to know the actual population that can confirm its status as Africa's most populous nation. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Well, Nigeria must plan several decades ahead in order to be able to manage its population effectively for prosperity. Guest on NT's Good Morning Nigeria, who gave this position, also emphasized that improving access to health care and qualitative education is critical to making Nigeria's population productive beyond the numbers.
Managing population dynamics continue to be a Herculean task for developing countries. With the fertility rate on the high side in Nigeria, attention is shifting from the quantity of the population to quality of lives in the population.
The first important thing to do is to improve your health care. Accessible, appropriate, relevant health care, which will target especially reduction in infant mortality. Both maternal mortality and mortality, but infant mortality is the major driver. Like you said, the woman that had 10 children, at the time she had the 10 children, the thing that was driving those 10 children is that you're not sure you're going to have 2 living at the end of the day.
The intervention, first and foremost, must be creating awareness that, look, there are many challenges when you have a population that is growing for the nation and even for the families, and especially for the women. The awareness for women to know the dangers of having so many children not well spaced out, beginning at an early age, and all of that.
The experts agreed that the size of Nigeria's population can be an asset rather than a liability if properly managed.
Where we have moved out of reality is that we have not looked at the structure of our population, the content of it. Nigeria has a youthful population. 70% of our population are below the age of 30. And you know that the demands of those people is very critical for us to develop.
The guests urged state governments to complement the federal government in formulating policies and plans for population management. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Participants in the just concluded training for field personnel on trial census for the 2023 population and housing census in Benue State have been tasked on making the exercise fully digital in order to produce a reliable data for national planning. This formed part of the message by the Federal Commissioner, National Population Commission in the state, Mrs. Kupchi Patricia, while ending the workshop in Makurdi. Ashes Kopep reports.
These are the 109 enumerators and supervisors trained for 12 days in rudiments alongside the necessary skills with practical demonstrations of operations in the field with the overall effort to deliver a truly scientific trial census that can prepare the ground for a credible and acceptable census next year.
When you go to the field, you do exactly what you are asked to go and do in the field. You have chain of command. Whatever is the problem, please first call your supervisor.
The carefully selected facilitators from reputable fields believe that with the strategies adopted, the training has fully equipped a solid-based manpower for the exercise.
The challenges we shall face, which are bound with them, are part of the things we expect, so that we can prepare ourselves properly for the actual census. As you enjoy the attraction in the field, please remember that you have come to the field for one special thing. To ensure that payment is always maintaining the best in terms of activities like this.
The trial census, which will commence on 13th July this year, will take place in 9 local government areas of the state and is expected to last for 2 weeks. In Makurdi, Ashes Kopep, NTA News.
Right, we're making a first stop to Lagos. Let's join Michael. He has some reports for us from that end. Michael?
Thank you, Ruth. Personal and sectional interests of some leaders of faith, rather than the true dictates of the religion, are regarded as the major cause of crisis among adherents of different creeds in Nigeria. This is the summation of some religious and traditional leaders while reflecting on this year's Eid el-Kabir celebration and the beauty that diversity in religion can offer the society. Adeni Taiwo reports.
The drum beats for celebration, but it can also beat for war. Religion, man's established way of relating with his God and being at peace with his maker, is sometimes used as a basis for war when people who claim to love and fight for God explore religious differences to promote crisis. It is another Eid el-Kabir celebration here at the Palace of Elera of Era, Awori Kingdom, High Chief Olumide Akisoji Egbeyele. For the traditional ruler, the occasion refreshes childhood memories of a time when there were no hard lines drawn among religions.
When we were young, honestly, I must confess, you enjoy going to different houses, you eat in more than 10-15 houses.
Blaming religious crisis on foreign values, the monarch called for a return to the past when love for humanity reigns above many other considerations.
If I can preach tolerance by way of expression, way of association with everybody, I want to believe that they should behold on them to also follow suit.
Miftaudeen Hibu Muhammad is the chief imam of Adaloko in Ijanekin, Ojo local government area of Lagos State. I got a warm welcome into his mosque, a gentle reminder that Islam is a religion of peace with injunctions on tolerance for people of other faiths. Eid el-Kabir celebration, in note, provides a platform to rekindle love and build harmony in the country.
Allah said, don't defend me. I created any one of you. I know the part of put in one of you. So anywhere you met yourself, just maintain peace there. Maybe I was very surprised. One of our pastors within the city, his wife challenged him last year. Imam, You share meat, you couldn't remember me. Mommy, don't be annoyed. The bill is my children.
And we have friends also who are Muslim and not Christian. We talk together.
While pledging to lead by example within their spheres of influence, these leaders agreed that the true basis of religious harmony is for everyone to indeed love his neighbor as himself without any discrimination. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NT News.
In furtherance of its commitment to develop the capacity of women in micro, small and medium enterprises through sustainable self-reliance initiatives, Lagos State Government has offered equipment support to 1,000 SMSC startups across the state. Musa Toliat completes reports.
The Support Initiative Program underscores the position of capacity building for startups as one of the ways to ensure the survival of micro, small and medium enterprises in any given society. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented, stressed that the Support Initiative Program is born out of commitment to build a pool of job creators and employers of labor, especially among the women population in the state.
It is a firm commitment to support initiatives such as this, which aims to develop innovation, entrepreneurial skills, and human capacity in a manner that will impact our current and emerging economic environment.
Do not stop with the little drops of water that you are collecting, but rather ensure that it becomes a river by practicing your trade conscientiously and be focused on your progress to financial independence.
Two of the beneficiaries were mothers of out-of-school children discovered by Governor Sanwo-Olu at Maryland in February this year.
I'm happy today for this dryer and the attachment and the 100,000. I know that this thing now will help me and help my daughter.
This machine, the way I'm selling her car, I will help somebody around that was a small change to help my daughter.
I don't need to use my boss equipment, but it was not really comfortable for me like that. Now I know I have my own. It will improve my family because the money I used to rent, I will not put it outside again. I'll be using it to feed my family and pay my children's school fees.
More than 50,000 indigent women have so far benefited from the quarterly micro enterprises support initiative across the metropolis. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages. The news continues with Ruth in Abuja shortly after this break. Please stay.
Ever-busy ancient city of Onitsha is a commercial hub with millions of commuters seamlessly linking other states daily for business, leisure, and other purposes. To upscale its road network, the construction of a 1.6-kilometer long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger bridge Onitsha will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government and it is deserving of all the applause.
As the world advances, Glorious Vision University Ogwa, Edo State is poised to deliver world-class education rooted in strong academic traditions. In the colleges of law, basic and applied sciences, humanities, management and social sciences, Glorious Vision University is building the next generation of leaders. Hurry now for 2022-2023 undergraduate and postgraduate admissions into any of our NUC fully accredited programs. Secure admission today in one of the fastest growing private universities in Africa. Also note that the university runs diploma, GPED, part-time and tuition-free programs in all colleges. For more information, visit www.sau.edu.ng or call 0705 079 1226. Glorious Vision University, the nurture for discipline and excellence.
Engage your team this summer at Digitest 2022, an annual ICT creative camp and competition for young minds of ages 8 to 18, with the theme Connecting Technology, Energy and Climate. Date Saturday, August 13 to Sunday, August 21st, 2022. Venue, Top Faith International Secondary School in Patak, Akwa Ibom State. For registration, visit www.digitalpairs.org. For information and inquiries, call 0807-782-3307 or 0807-782-3308. For more updates, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Digital Peers. Digitest is brought to you by Digital Peers International in collaboration with the Akwa Ibom State Government.
Your PVC ready. Conduct yourselves orderly. Join the queue. Cast your vote secretly. Thumbprint correctly. Do not waste your vote. Do not sell your vote. Secure your future. If you sell your vote, you have sold good roads, electricity, water, education, good healthcare, etc. Be part of nation building. Cast your vote for honest candidates. Shun electoral violence. You could lose your life for nothing, for nothing, for nothing. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back. The Chairman Federal Civil Service Commission, Dr. Tukuru Bello Ngawa, has commended the management of State House for reviving the culture of awards and recognition for deserving civil servants who distinguished themselves in public service at the send-off ceremony in honor of some former staff of State House, including the current Permanent Secretary of the Federal Civil Service Commission. The chairman expressed concern that the culture of recognizing well-deserving staff had taken a backseat and urged ministries, departments and agencies of government to emulate the State House and resuscitate the practice of appreciating best skills and abilities in the service. The chairman congratulated the current Permanent Secretary of the Federal Civil Service Commission, Dr. Ogbe, on her appointment and described her as a very reliable officer and team player, adding that since her posting to the commission, she has proven her worth as a highly dedicated officer. He also praised other celebrants, including Dr. Oga Omali and Matron Igwemo, for serving with great commitment, retiring meritoriously from the civil service, as well as the Solicitor General of the Federation for conscientiously working with her colleagues in the commission to resolve pressing legal issues in the service. All right, we'll take another trip, this time to Benin, as we join Obehi there. Obehi.
Many thanks, Ruth, for joining us here in Benin. Eid al-Kabir festivities for the Muslim community in Benin is incomplete without the traditional homage and prayers for those in authority. The Muslim Ummah, led by the Chief Imam of the Benin Central Mosque, were at the Government House and the Palace of the Oba of Benin to celebrate this year's Salah. Ifoma Okafo reports.
The acting governor, Philip Shaibu, in his felicitation, expressed joy that irrespective of the different religions and tribe in the state, there is relative peace.
This period, let's continue to reflect on how things went back and how we can correct it. We should return to God in sacrifice. We should return to God in faithfulness. That is the only way we can salvage our country.
The Salah visit moved to the palace where the Oba of Benin advised the different ethnic groups within the Benin Muslim Congress to embrace peace, while also charging them not to relent in their prayers for President Muhammad Buhari and other government functionaries so that they can achieve their assigned responsibilities.
The need is non-partisan.